What's going on, rope breakers? I'm your host, AuSSy. Welcome to Rope Break Radio. For the first time ever, we are live on YouTube. I thank you guys for joining me. Got a good show lined up for you as well. Crazy day in WWE yesterday. We're going to talk about that as well as, answer your questions as usual. And, really, there's no time to waste. Let's get right into things. Starting off with the crazy Emma situation. Um, Again, fielding all of your comments and questions on the YouTube feed. We'll answer your questions. And if you've got something to say about a certain topic, let us know in the questions, and I will go ahead and let it be known exactly what you had to say to everybody here on the cast. So starting off with the Emma situation, crazy day for her yesterday. Can't even think about the emotions that must have been felt yesterday, the feels that must have been felt yesterday from Emma, who was not only fired but rehired in the same day. Now, we had heard about her trouble with the law, stealing an iPhone case from Walmart. Some people say that it was a mishap. Some people say, she did steal it. She pleaded guilty, so if she didn't steal, why would she have pleaded guilty? Nobody really knows exactly what the issue was, and they're going to be pretty tight-lipped about it. But we're going to go on the assumption that, yes, she did indeed, at least, whether it was accidentally or not, take an iPhone case from Walmart, and for that she was arrested, and then shortly after, fired by WWE, and this caused a large uproar from fans, you and I alike, who were really pissed off that Emma was just let go like that, a great talent, after we've seen the likes of Cameron, or Ariane, if you watch Total Divas, Jack Swagger, all sorts of other talents, Randy Orton, whether they failed drug tests or DWIs or were fighting out of the ring, so many other bigger issues that we've seen in the past, and the people were not let go. In fact, they even received WrestleMania pushes, as we saw with Jack Swagger back at WrestleMania 29. So eventually, I think WWE officials saw the backlash that was happening on Twitter, and looks like they just reinstated her. I'm not sure, exactly what their plans are going to be. It was said that she's still going to be dealt with disciplinary actions, but what that exactly is, I have no clue. It seems right now, and we'll get into it later, that Vince McMahon has a sharpened sword, and he's ready to drop it down on pretty much anybody that does anything wrong. So if I'm in WWE right now, I'm walking on shattered glass, tiptoeing across, everywhere. I'm certainly not stealing an iPhone case. And, again, we don't know the exact story behind the whole Emma situation, but all I know is I'm making sure I got the goddamn receipt and everything's paid for before I'm leaving. I'm not going to let something stupid like that ruin a lifelong dream. But anyways, we at Rope Break Wrestling, I know I speak for the other guys, we were happy that Emma was reinstated. We were quite frankly pretty upset that they released her like that, just because, like I said, Jack Swagger, Randy Orton, Cameron, whatever. These people have all done things much worse than, petty larceny, and were not fired. So they did the right thing here. They kept Emma. Question is, with this second round of cuts here, are they going to keep her along for the ride, or are they going to end up axing her with these next cuts and saying, hey, it wasn't because of the theft, it was because we got nothing for her. So that remains to be seen. And of course, we want your opinion on it. If you think, you didn't really care if she was rehired or not, let us know. If you think she definitely should have been fired for her actions, let us know. If you think it's stupid and she didn't deserve any of that disciplinary action, let us know. Moving on, we're going to go ahead and cover what I want to cover there, basically about more cuts. A good way to segue into that from what we just said about Emma possibly being cut later on is that Vince McMahon's apparently getting ready to make some more cuts. Now, we do have a story up on Rope Break Wrestling about this right now. So you can head over to ropebreakwrestling.com. Alec put up a good story about that. Now, we saw a couple weeks ago, obviously, a big wave of cuts, and now it looks like we're going to see even more. Question is who? Is it going to be in-ring talent? Is it going to be production costs that they're cutting? Nobody really knows for sure right now. The Wrestling Observer newsletter is reporting this, that Vince is getting set to make some big cuts. And what it is just to clear up the confusion from what it seems to be like a lot of people, is it seems that it's not just the WWE Network. Yes, the WWE Network, when it became a reality that the WWE Network was going to happen, they knew there was going to be some growing pains or a curve, at least in the first year, especially knowing that they weren't going to go internationally with it right away. Because let me tell you something, and I know we have a couple international fans that are, either watching right now or have watched in the past. The international fan base is it's probably bigger, obviously in terms of size, bigger than the United States fan base, just because obviously there's more countries, more population over there than there is just in the one country of the United States. But these fans across the sea are very, very passionate, and they would have bought into the WWE Network as well. Now, I know there's problems with costs getting it over there, and it would have been an even larger tap for them to foot if they went with both the United States and internationally as far as the WWE Network official launch. But they want 1 million subscribers. That's the only way you're going to get it, is through having the entire WWE universe open to being able to purchase the WWE Network. So as far as that goes, I don't really see how they expected much more than what they've got. They've got over 700,000 subscribers, I believe, and I am one of them. Now, as far as the cuts go, it seems that they originally had thought, when they launched the WWE Network, that the TV rights, their new contract with USA, was going to, cover some of that cost of the WWE Network, because it cost a great deal of money to roll this out. You're talking about a bunch of new jobs. You're talking about all new technology and stuff that needs to be paid for, not to mention the bandwidth and the cloud and everything like that it takes to have all of the databases and stuff like that on the network. So they knew it was going to cost them a lot of money. They expected it with the 1 million subscribers plus the larger TV deal, it was going to be able to foot some of the tab there, and it hasn't done as much as they would have liked. Doesn't mean they're set to go under, or another promotion is going to make a run for their money like Global Force. It's probably not going to happen. What probably will happen is you're going to see them starting to trim some of the fat. You had a guy like JTG that was around for God knows how many years, just sitting there. Kurt Hawkins, he just alluded to it in an interview recently. He was just sitting there doing nothing. There's no reason for them to be paying these people, so I expect them to trim some of the fat. If they don't have a spot for you, there's no sense in them paying you. And I know a lot of people are going to be upset and butthurt about it, but really, it's nothing personal. It's all business. And I feel like a heel saying that, but a guy like Zack Ryder, I know a lot of people really liked him, and a lot of people would be really pissed if they let him go. But to be perfectly honest with you, I see no reason to keep him around. I know he got over by himself, Long Island Ice Z and everything, but the gimmick's terrible. They've got nothing for him right now, and I don't see any reason to keep him unless they're planning on using him in developmental or something like that. But a lot of people like that, is what I'm saying. There's a lot of people out there that they've got that aren't on TV, that don't really even do house shows, so why even bother with them? That's the point. Like Hawkins said, he was happy when he was finally let go because he could wrestle again. He didn't have to sit around on the bench and do nothing. So if they want to cut costs, trim the fat. That's my advice on that. Now, moving into the next topic that I want to cover, and that is what looks like there could be a Shield reunion down the road at some point. Wow. Shocking news to me. Shocking news. Definitely not shocking news to me at all. Obviously, the Shield made big money in their first go as a stable. Why wouldn't they bring them back and eventually, do like what they did with DX in the past? DX had their tough times. Triple H, Shawn Michaels battling at each other, I Quit matches, elimination chambers, and then eventually in '06 they got back together and they made big money. The fans like to see that type of stuff, and it will happen. Similar to the way we just saw Evolution get back together for that brief time, you're gonna see moments when the Shield, all three of them bump backs, turn around, and they're back together, at least for a short pay-per-view run. Now, do I think it's smart to do it within a year from now? No, I don't. I think these guys need to build their own separate career for at least 1 year before they start bringing them back together and start having them, tag again and, destroy everybody. Plus, I think they would really need to have another stable of 3 to come in and, be doing damage in order to, justify a Shield reunion within 1 year of them breaking up, especially how hard Seth Rollins turned heel. That needs to be sold, and it can't just be forgiven within, whatever time period it was, or it'll be a couple times. But Michael Flaherty weighing in on Facebook here. Thanks, Michael. He says, I think as far as cuts go, they're going to cut the in-ring talent. I personally think that David Otunga, Darren Young, Damian Sandow, and Emma will be cut. I want Eva Marie to be cut because she's just a god-awful in-ring talent, and Rosa Mendez could also be in danger. Michael, I agree with you, man, on some of those points. A guy like David Otunga, perfect example. The only time David Otunga ever gets used is when they send him to schools to talk about don't be a bully, be a star. Other than that, he's never in sight. Now, Darren Young is still injured with that ACL tear, I believe, so I'm not sure that they would necessarily cut him off the rip, especially since there would probably be some backlash there from the gay rights community, even though it wouldn't be related to his sexuality. I could still see some backlash there, and that's good for their PR. They want to keep somebody like that on. Damian Sandow, I think they still have some type of belief in him. Obviously, they're not showing it, but this comedy gimmick, it's been pretty sad but pretty funny at the same time. Then you go into Emma. Obviously, Eva Marie should probably be one of those people cut, but it comes down to, and something else that I want to cover here, it comes down to the look. And that's a reason why Roman Reigns has gotten the major push over a guy like Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, is because of the look. And that's a reason why Eva Marie is going to stay on the roster, because she looks good. She's green as shit in the ring. She didn't even have any time in NXT barely, but they're going to keep her around, and they're going to give her a total divas push when you've got other divas that are better in ring. Example, Emma, that could be taking that push. Red hair, big tits, nice ass, you get a push. I don't like it. Not everybody's Trish Stratus that can come in hot as hell as a model, green as shit, and then be turned into an excellent wrestler. So I don't necessarily agree with them keeping Eva Marie around. And same goes with Rosa Mendez. She's been in trouble before. She wasn't let go. She was a recovering alcoholic, was spotted having drinks with Michael P.S. Hayes. He got suspended. She didn't, I don't think. So then Emma goes and steals an iPhone case, and she's the one that gets fired. Obviously still rehired, but, you catch the drift. So, as far as that goes... And sorry, itching my nose, it's allergy season here. But as far as that goes, I don't really understand. Now, it looks like we've got Aaron Mason waging in on Twitter. Otunga actually does a lot of behind-the-scenes promoting nowadays, which is why we don't see him. That's exactly what I'm saying, though. What good is it for David Otunga to be doing behind-the-scenes promotion if he's not a big face or a big character? Why do I want to listen to him on the radio station promote anything? Why do I want to see him at my school? If I'm a kid in elementary school and a WWE superstar is going to come to my school and it ends up being David Otunga, I'm pissed. I want my money back. You know what I mean? I don't think the guy's a bad talent. I think he had potential. They just didn't use him. And I think now to the point, it's not like you can bring him back and push him really hard because you've got so many other people that need to be pushed in that spot. So as far as David Otunga goes, I don't see a likely role for him anytime in the near future. And we're going to head on to the YouTube page here because apparently the Hangout toolbox is not working for me in terms of everybody's YouTube comments. So if you've made a comment on the YouTube, give me 1 second here. Let me take a look at what we've got. And as always, again, I appreciate you guys watching. You know, obviously I'm taking the time out of my day here to go ahead and do the Rope Break Radio podcast. Let's do this live from now on. Let's have a little meeting here, and eventually what I want to do today is, for the couple of you that are watching right now, is if you have access to a webcam or a microphone on your computer, I'm going to invite you into this Google Hangout, let you speak right on the podcast, ask me your questions, and I will answer them, and everybody will be able to hear your take, kind of like you're calling into a radio show or whatever. But right now, I am opening the floor for you guys to speak throughout the entire podcast. So, like we're saying for Aaron Mason or, you know, anybody, if you've got something to say about a topic that I'm talking about right now, let us know. Tweet us at Rope Break Wrestling. Let us know in the YouTube comments. Let us know by Facebook messaging. Get your voice heard. That's what we're all about at Rope Break Wrestling. We're not going to steal the spotlight. I'm not here to, you know, mumble on and on for a couple hours and have nobody interact. It's all about the interaction. I'm a fan just like you guys. I'm not anything bigger or better than you guys. Just giving you guys a platform here. Travis Kerr tweets into us. What's going on, Travis? Nice to see you watching the show. He asked, what's the deal with Sandow? Same question we're all asking. Obviously, like I mentioned, he's been going on and on with the comedy gimmick for what seems like forever. Ever since he lost to Cena, which, you know, I know a lot of people give Cena a lot of shit, and I was one of those people that was very pissed off that they had to have Sandow cash in and lose to Cena in a great match. A great match that honestly put Sandow over. Because Cena is still a big deal. If you beat Cena, it's a big deal. Sandow had a great match with Cena and lost. From there, they could have still kept building Sandow, but they chose to drop him off. He was gone from the universe's eye for what seemed like forever, and then he comes back and he's Davy Crockett, he's Lance Stevenson, he's you know, the President, he's Vince McMahon, which by far was his best one yet. You know, he's got all these different comedy gimmicks, and it's not really that. I mean, sometimes it's funny, but then after you sit and think about it for a second, you're kind of like, oh, that blows, because Sandow had a lot of potential. And as you could have seen in the Rope Break Radio or Rope Break Wrestling WrestleMania Dream Card, which we're doing, and after this podcast, the polls are going to open for the second round, or second part of round one. So the second part of the bracket there, we're going to open up the voting. As you can see, we had dreamed up here a match between Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Damian Sandow, and the reason I did that, or the reason we did that, is because Matt, Alec, and I have always said that Damian Sandow coming out with the robe and, you know, his cocky attitude always reminded us of the original Hunter Hearst Helmsley gimmick, the, you know, bowing, better than you type gimmick, and we all thought that Sandow could eventually break out of that gimmick the way Triple H did, and just because of his mic skill alone, obviously, you know, he's a good enough looking superstar, and his mic skill alone, he could have had a big push. He could have benefited from that loss to Cena, but they chose to do nothing with it. So to be perfectly honest with you, Travis, I'm asking the same question as you. What's the deal with Sandow? Let's do something with him, please. Otherwise, you know, I think he might run the risk of being, you know, eliminated. Although I don't necessarily think that, because he's still getting TV time, and I guess right now in the current WWE day and age, you can't complain if you're getting TV time. I guess that is like, you know, the one thing that matters is, hey, am I getting TV? Yeah, you're getting TV. So, Kashif Ahmed, I got your question here on the Facebook messages. We will answer that when we do question time a little bit later. And Brandon Manuel, hopefully you got the link to the show. So, stepping into our next segment, and it's a story that I wrote about on RopeBreakWrestling.com. If you haven't read it, read it now. It's Reigns versus Lesnar at WrestleMania 31. Apparently, this is the plan going into WrestleMania 31, and I, right off the rip, seem pretty annoyed because I am. Not only do I think it's stupid for them to be making bookings this far down the road, it's basically going over the crowd. It's going over the whole universe saying, hey, listen, we don't really give a shit what you guys are going to want at that point. We're going with this, and we're going to build to it like it or not. Now, I know that they have to have a plan intact so that they can go forward and eventually, you know, have plans to build somebody. But right now, in my honest opinion, I do not think that Roman Reigns is ready for a WWE title reign, whether it be the WWE World Heavyweight Championship or if they split them up and it's just the WWE Heavyweight or just the WWE Championship. I don't think he's ready for that strap. Maybe a World Heavyweight Championship, but that's even questionable right now. If you go back and you think about all the legendary champions of you know, I'm going to say my generation, our generation, depending on what your age is, you're looking at guys like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, Undertaker. I mean, we're talking guys, John Cena, guys that are legitimate, multi-platform superstars. Right now, Roman Reigns, without a doubt, has the look of a monster superstar on the horizon. Looks like he could follow in The Rock's footsteps. He could be a multi-platform guy. He's a little bit older than a lot of people know, and his mic skills are borderline atrocious, to the point where I almost cringe and close my eyes when he's on the mic because I'm not a fan of it. And I am a fan of Roman Reigns. I'm rooting for him to do well because he does have that look. But the problem is he does not have his own identity right now. He's still coming out to the Shield theme song, which, by the way, was remixed terribly. It's an absolutely shitty remix of the original Shield theme song. I would have just kept the same damn theme song minus the you know, Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta Shield shit in the beginning. Keep the same version of the song. Then he's still in his Shield gear. It almost looks like he's kind of pathetic the way he's trying to hold on to the Shield. And I know it's not his fault, it's creative's fault, whatever they're trying to plan for him. But right now, it looks to me that Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins are leaps and bounds ahead of Roman Reigns. So the reason that they're planning Roman Reigns to win the strap and become the next big guy at WrestleMania already is beyond me. And it's like I said in the story, it all has to do with looks. And that's what really pisses me off, is because a guy like Bret Hart, a guy like Shawn Michaels, those guys were smaller. They didn't have the monster, you know, be able to wave your hair and ooh, you know, they weren't the big intimidating creatures that Roman Reigns is. They weren't the creatures that Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, all the guys before them were. They broke the mold because they were excellent wrestlers, and that's exactly what Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins are. Cesaro as well is a guy that I could see over Roman Reigns being champion right now. Maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm just sick of the, you know, I'm a smaller guy myself. Maybe I'm sick of the, you know, muscle heads getting everything. And I know Reigns isn't that big, but the point of the matter is this: Rollins, Ambrose, Cesaro, Wyatt, Barrett could all be argued as more ready for the spotlight, and they're already jumping ahead of all those guys, basically leaving those guys in the dust and giving Reigns that title push. And it's going to be against, right there, the Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar, and he's going to go over him. I'm not necessarily sure that I agree. That's all I have to say, and I really, really want to hear your guys' your opinions on this one. So please do tweet. Let me know what you guys have to say about Roman Reigns becoming possibly the next big babyface of the company, the next big John Cena. Are you ready to see Roman Reigns for the next 12 years in every city, every town as the guy? I'm not sure I'm ready for it. He's got to prove a little bit more to me, to be perfectly honest. Now, Reigns not only has a huge feud scheduled at WrestleMania 31 with Lesnar, but he's also got a huge feud that looks like it's about to come to fruition for SummerSlam. But before we get into that, I just want to say, in that article that I wrote on RopeBreakWrestling.com about Reigns getting the WrestleMania 31 push, I compared it to WrestleMania 21, and I'll tell you why. WrestleMania 20, if you remember. Now, I know it's a sore subject for some and not for others. Chris Benoit finally gets a heavyweight championship. He gets that main event push. He goes over Shawn Michaels and Triple H in the main event and becomes world heavyweight champion. Without a doubt, one of the two top technical wrestlers in the business, one of the 2 or 3 top technical wrestlers in the business at the time. He and Eddie Guerrero both held major championships at the same time. That reminds me, it sounds a little like WrestleMania 30 to me, when finally Daniel Bryan, without a doubt the best technical wrestler in the company, finally gets the brass ring, finally gets the title, and then just like WrestleMania 20, the following year, no longer did Eddie Guerrero or Chris Benoit have main event pushes. They were both left in the dust for John Cena and Batista, 2 guys that were still green but had the look. They had the look. Batista looked similar to me. Look at those. Look at those pythons. Batista, green as can be. Probably wasn't even ready for it, but he did do a good job with it, I will say that. John Cena went over JBL, and now it looks like that technical wrestler in Daniel Bryan is going to end up losing everything, and it's going to end up going to the guy that looks big and intimidating, Roman Reigns. And again, other guys left in the dust look like it's going to be Rollins and Ambrose. I don't know that they don't go with a triple threat match for an Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 31 or something like that. Gone are the days when a wrestler had to come in and really prove himself to management. A guy like Bret Hart, I'll keep bringing Bret Hart's name up. A guy like Shawn Michaels. A guy like Shawn Michaels did not get a WWE Championship in his first 2 years with the company. A guy like Bret Hart, I believe Bret Hart took something like 8 years with WWE before he got the WWF Championship. The problem that we're seeing with these guys nowadays is I know the crowd wants fresh, they want new. The problem is, and you're seeing it with guys like Del Rio and Sheamus, they get pushed way too fast. And then everybody's like, okay, on to the next one. I'm sick of Shitmas. I'm sick of Del Rito, Del Boring, Dorito, whatever the hell you want to call him. People like myself are like, I'm sick of this shit. The guy comes out of nowhere, beats John Cena, beats Randy Orton, beats CM Punk, and now they're champions. And then a couple months later, they're down on the shit list. Del Rio's, picking up shit in the stable. So I don't necessarily think that it's a smart idea for them to say, hey, Roman Reigns finally becomes a single star, hasn't even had a singles pay-per-view match yet, which somebody pointed out on the Facebook page, and he's going to be given the title at WrestleMania 31. And then eventually, somebody back there backstage is going to say, you know what, we don't really care for Reigns with the strap. He's going to drop the strap, and then he's going to become the next Sheamus or Del Rio, where he's just sitting there, boring. The chicks will always dig him because he's hot. He's got Samoan tattoos. But the fact of the matter is, if he can't carry the strap, it's not his fault. It's creative's fault and management's fault for not being able to build him to be able to create or to be able to carry that strap, like a Shawn Michaels was built, even like a Stone Cold Steve Austin in that short period was built. He got super hot, much hotter than Roman Reigns. And that's why he eventually got the strap. Bret Hart, like I said, something like 8 years in the WWF before finally branching out. He had the Intercontinental Championship, and then he ascended to the WWF title. And that used to be the way you had to do it. You had to go Intercontinental Championship before you got that WWF Championship. Now it seems like a guy can come in within a couple months, get a main event push, take a strap, and then lose it, and then then he goes down to the Intercontinental scene. Doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It should be the other way around. It should be a guy comes in, gets heavily pushed for a meaningful Intercontinental Championship, and then eventually can challenge the next guy up on the rung. But it looks like we've got somebody in on Twitter again, Travis Kerr, saying, obviously Reigns and Lesnar would be awesome, but not for the strap. How would Bryan fit in when he comes back? So Travis seems to be at least a little bit agreeing with me. So obviously you're right. Lesnar versus Reigns would be great. It would be great without the strap, exactly like you said, Travis. Because Reigns, let's face it, the guy is a big and intimidating force, and if he's built properly, can become a great babyface. He can become a great champion. It's just too early for me right now. If he faces Lesnar and he gets over Lesnar, now that's a big deal. That builds him. That makes him ready for the next rung. Now, I don't even necessarily agree with Brock Lesnar becoming the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I know he beat Undertaker, and the only thing left out there that's bigger than the Undertaker in terms is the strap. So it seems like that's the way they're going with him, just to build him as the biggest heel. But my question is, if he wins at SummerSlam, there's no way he's taking that strap all the way to WrestleMania 31 on a part-time schedule. If he came back for a full-time schedule, highly unlikely. I don't think he will. I would be all for it. I would be all for Brock Lesnar full-time schedule, destroying everybody on his way to WrestleMania 31. And then at that point, we can see who's ready for the strap. And who could face him. But yes, I do agree, Reigns and Lesnar would be an excellent feud. I don't think it's a WWE World Heavyweight Championship feud right at the moment. To answer your question about how Bryan would fit in when he comes back, that remains to be seen, because WWE management is known for doing shit like this. You saw it with Dolph Ziggler, and I'm worried about it with Bad News Barrett. When they get injured, they come back and, they're just floating there. So I could see a guy like Daniel Bryan coming back, having a meaningless program with Kane that's not revolving around the strap, and eventually people are going to lose interest. Eventually the yes chant is no longer over, and eventually Daniel Bryan becomes an expendable talent. He becomes an underappreciated guy like an Eddie Guerrero or Chris Benoit or whatever. You could see him as like Benoit. He went up to the heavyweight championship, and then after that, it was U.S. titles or nothing for him the rest of his career. So I hope that's not the case, but it looks like that's what I'm going to ballpark for Daniel Bryan. Maybe he gets one more title push before that, but I don't think they even really have belief in him, to be perfectly honest. I think they had no chance but to put the strap on him, just the way he was so over at WrestleMania. But now that he's not going to be as over as before, and you got a guy like Reigns coming up, I think they no hesitation, they'll choose Reigns over Daniel Bryan, which is, BS to me. Now, Aaron Mason says, in your ideal world, if the titles were split, who would you give the main four singles and the tag titles? Okay, I was misreading that for a second. Right now, in a perfect world for me, I would have a guy like, and I know a lot of people don't necessarily agree with this, but I would have a guy like Cesaro as the heavyweight champion. The reason I say that, I do think he still needs a little bit of work, and in my honest opinion, I always have thought that the heavyweight championship has been a little smaller than the WWE championship, even in that time period when Triple H had the heavyweight belt, and other guys like Eddie Guerrero or whoever had the WWE championship, JBL, etc. I think a guy like Cesaro would make the heavyweight championship interesting and finally legitimize Paul Heyman here, because what's happening with Paul Heyman, and I discussed it with Alec and Matt, is WWE Creative is detrimentally hurting Paul Heyman as a character here. They threw him with Curtis Axel, failed. They threw him with Ryback, failed. They throw him with Cesaro, he gets great steam, they've got great momentum going, and then it looks like they're shutting ship down. Because Cesaro loses the what the hell just happened? Money in the Bank match, and you know, he lost in his feud with Sheamus, which looks terrible because not a lot of people really care for Sheamus, especially myself. And you know, it looks like he may capture the Intercontinental Championship, but I think he's ready to be above that. He's had the IC strap before. I think he'd be a good heavyweight champion. Now, as far as the WWE Championship goes, that's up in the air. Right now, I think Cena's probably the right guy for it. I know, you know, that goes against everything that I said on Sunday night in the React show, but it is what it is, really. I think that Cena does bring that legitimacy to the strap, and I think he's holding it for Lesnar, and then Lesnar can put somebody else over. I think that might be the right way to go, but I don't necessarily, you know, have an issue with Cena holding that strap for right now. It's kind of like Hogan when he came back lean and mean and took the strap from Yokozuna at WrestleMania 9. Did he deserve it? Hell no. I feel terrible for Bret Hart for not being able to keep that strap there and losing it the way he did there to Hogan, who clearly was coming back, was finally steroid-free, blah, 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 blah. He wins the strap, and then eventually he rides off into the sunset and signs with WCW. John Cena needs to freshen up the character, but I think he is the right choice for the WWE strap right now. So I'd have Cena, WWE Champion, for the time being. We're talking about right now. Then I would have Cesaro, Heavyweight Championship. And then, if we're talking about Intercontinental straps, I still want Bad News Barrett on that Intercontinental Championship. I think he brings a lot of interest and meaning to that championship. But if he can't have it, and what I hope they do, is give it to either Ambrose or Rollins. That can be an excellent Intercontinental Championship feud, one that people will really give a shit about and really care about that strap again. Because that's what's happened, is that the feuds for those lower-end single straps have been really watered down and nobody's really cared about them. Rollins and Ambrose fighting over that strap would be epic. It would be Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels. It would be The Rock, Triple H. It would be Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect. It would be a great Intercontinental Championship feud, and that's exactly what that strap needs to be prominent again. United States Championship, hard to say right now. Just thinking about the guys that are out there. Geez, who would I give the United States Championship to? It's tough to say because I would at first drift say Bray Wyatt, but I don't think he needs a strap. He's an Undertaker-like character in the fact that people are going to be interested in him whether or not he's the champion. He's got a great gimmick like that where he doesn't need to be the champion for people to care about him, and that's a great quality to have. Now, as far as the United States Championship goes, I'd probably throw it on Ziggler, somebody like that. Again, somebody that people are interested in, not Sheamus. The tag titles, I think the Usos are the right team to have them for the time being. I don't think, and I've said this about 100 times, I don't think that the Wyatts need the tag straps for the simple reason that Bray Wyatt doesn't have gold. It doesn't make any sense for those two to have gold and Bray Wyatt to not have gold. So right now I'm going to say U.S. Championship, Dolph Ziggler. Intercontinental Championship we'll give to Seth Rollins and have him feud with Dean Ambrose for it. Heavyweight Championship, Cesaro, and WWE Championship, John Cena. And then when a guy like Bryan comes back, immediately give him a chance with Cena for that WWE Championship. And maybe I would have had a guy like Lesnar challenge Cesaro for the Heavyweight Championship. Remains to be seen. That's just me. That's just what I would have done. But like I said, totally up in the air. I'm actually interested in what you think, Aaron. Who you think should hold each strap. Same with you, Travis. Either of you guys. I'm interested to know who you think belongs as each singles champion. And do you even think that they should split up the belts? I certainly do, but it doesn't look like they're going to for some time now. So I don't know. The other big matches that we've got going on at SummerSlam apparently are going to be obviously Cena Lesnar for the championship, which slipped out. Brie Bella versus Stephanie McMahon. I'm really, really, really interested, and I know I've heard a lot of people really bashing this on YouTube, bashing Stephanie McMahon getting back in the ring. How can we be excited for that shit? Blah 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 blah. I am excited for it just because Stephanie McMahon right now is one of the best heels of the last 10 years, like it or not. I don't give a shit if she's in the ring. I don't care if she's a woman. She's doing excellent heel work right now, and I am getting excited seeing her in the ring. Why? Because she's got some big-ass titties. And I want to see her in some wrestling gear. Hopefully she doesn't come out wearing like a singlet or some Oksana-looking shit. But we'll see. I think that feud will be interesting. I like to see the whole feud where win and get your job back, or lose and never get your job back, whatever. The other feud we've got is one that a lot of people are excited for, in Y2J versus Bray Wyatt. Obviously, Jericho worked with Bray Wyatt right before his main roster debut down in NXT, and he gave him that little oomph that he needed to get up there. And I think now Jericho can and will give Bray Wyatt that little oomph that he needs to get up into the next level. Jericho did say that Bray Wyatt would be a main level superstar, a main roster superstar in 1 year. That has happened. He also said Bray Wyatt would be a main event superstar in 2 years. Well, Jericho looks like he's back to help that out. And that's one of the reasons why I have a never-ending respect for Chris Jericho, because he's willing to not only put people over, but he's willing to come back from doing something else just to put somebody over. Unlike a guy like Cena, who has to keep figuring out ways for him to get over again. Hey, Triple H, hey, creative, I think that this would be a good way for me to get back over again with the fans. Have me win the strap at Money in the Bank, and then have me face the biggest heel in the company. Then maybe I'll get some cheers again. No. Simply put, that's the way I'm putting it. And Aaron Mason says, I actually agree with you on all of your title decisions, though I'd give Orton the WWE Championship over Cena. I don't see a problem with that. That actually makes more sense. I didn't even really think about it. It makes a little more sense, and the reason why is because the whole authority angle, giving the strap to Orton, gives him more heat, and I agree with that. Plus, anybody but Cena, right? If it's me, I'm saying anybody but Cena. But, so the big 4 main events there slated for SummerSlam makes you wonder what the other matches are going to be. If this Stardust gimmick fails, it looks like we'll finally see that Goldust versus Cody Rhodes feud, although they've got a short amount of time now to build that, so we'll see. Looks like they're going to stick with the Stardust Goldust thing. Looks like they're the next contenders for the tag titles too, so we'll see what they decide to do with that. I think they should scrap it. I think a card with Reigns, Triple H, Cena, Lesnar, Brie Bella versus Stephanie, Y2J versus Wyatt, Goldust versus Cody, and then you can have Sheamus versus Ziggler, and Rollins versus Ambrose, and then the Ascension versus the Usos. That's what I'm talking about. Then you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches on the card, and the worst match on the card would be Goldust versus Cody Rhodes. That is how you know you've got a damn good card. Imagine a card that sees Cody Rhodes versus Goldust. Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus for the United States Championship, Rollins versus Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship, the Ascension versus the Usos for the tag titles, Reigns versus Triple H, Brie Bella versus Stephanie, Y2J versus Wyatt, and Cena versus Lesnar for the main event WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That's a goddamn card right there. And that is why I should be booking for WWE. Write them a letter. Tell them. I should be booking this shit, right? Don't you guys agree? I agree. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what you think. I've got security right behind me over here. Yeah, you ain't messing with that. Also, while I've got you guys, Aaron Mason, your prize shipped out just 2 days ago. I know you're over the pond there, but once you get it, please tweet us a photo of you with your prize so that we can show everybody else, hey, this is legit shit. We're not effing around. We actually give prizes away. Travis Kerr can be a testament to that. He's a former prize winner. We don't mess around. We honor our word. We're here to help you guys. Hopefully you're here to help us help you, if you understand what that means. And the way you can do that is by donating to RopeBreakWrestling.com, helping us better the giveaways, helping us continue to ship them to you for free. And the way you can do that is by clicking the donate button on RopeBreakWrestling.com. It's on virtually every page. All you have to do is pay with your PayPal account. Even 50 cents, a dollar, anything helps us out, because again, this stuff is coming right out of my pocket, right out of Alex's pocket, right out of Matt's pocket, and we are doing it all for you guys. We're trying to become the next level source for your WWE news and rumors, podcasts, countdowns, everything, reaction shows. We do it all. Most other sites don't do all of this stuff, and to mention, we only have 3 guys doing it. This isn't Bleacher Report where we've got 150 watered-down jackasses writing bullshit articles every single day that nobody really wants to read, but they click on it because they have no other choice. This is 3 guys, 3 diehard WWE fans, and we are trying to better the scene out there for you guys, because we were sick and tired of reading the same shit. So we decided we'll do it ourselves, and we'll do it better. And that's why we're continuing to bring in these live podcasts, live reaction shows, giveaways, reviews, countdowns, everything. And if there's something that's not currently on the site that you want to see on the site, let us know. If you want to be a part of the site, if you want to write for the site, if you want to do graphics for the site, if you want to do anything for the site, let us know. You can give us a writing sample. You can give us a graphic sample. We're always looking for more people to bring along. Now, right before we get into question time here, I want to say, not only is that SummerSlam card look excellent, but there's a lot of rumors saying that Night of Champions is supposedly going to be even better than that. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. Night of Champions, where every championship is up on the line. And apparently, because that's the end of the first 6-month period there with the WWE Network, they're trying to get people to re-up, renew. There's no way Night of Champions isn't going to kick ass. And I think they've been doing a really good job with the pay-per-views lately, starting with WrestleMania 30. Obviously, one of the best WrestleManias in years. Extreme Rules, one of the best pay-per-views in years, bar none. Extreme Rules was probably better than WrestleMania 27 and 28. Then what else do we got? Payback was solid. Money in the Bank was solid. And now Battleground, all it has to do is beat mediocrity, and it's going to be better than it was last year. By far the worst pay-per-view of the year yet last year. And as I itch the shit out of my nose here to discuss to all of you, it looks like Battleground will be better than it was last year at least. So without further ado, right now I'm going to open the floor for questions. If you guys are interested, let's see here. If you guys are interested, I can invite you into the hangout here. You can become a part of the show. If you want to hook up your webcam and go face to face, go one-on-one with the great one, or you have just a microphone in your computer, your laptop, whatever, you want to ask us a question on the show live, please send us your email right now. Send me your email on Twitter, Rope Wrestling. It's right over here. Yeah, right under my name. Rope Break Wrestling. Or on the Facebook Messenger. Or right in the comments section here on the YouTube page. Any of that. By the way, Sir Tommy T, how you doing, pal? We see you on the YouTube page. Send us your emails if you want to get in on the action here. If not, no problem. No problem being camera shy. But please do send us your email. and we'll get you into this Google Hangout here. We'll get your face up on for your 15 seconds of fame, or just your voice if that's the way you want to do it as well. Let us know. All you have to do is send me your email. I will send you a link to join the Hangout, and from there you can join that way. So we do have some questions that I took on the Facebook page, and we'll answer those first while I wait for you guys. I know there is a little bit of a delay, a little bit of a lag. So let's see what we've got. It's going to take me a minute here to find the spot, because yesterday was such a big day in WWE. Everything seems to have gone quite a ways down here on the news feed. Any day now. Any day now. Okay, here we go. First, we're going to answer a question from a longtime viewer of ours who now goes by the name of Stokes Murdoch. All right, Randy motherfucking Hill. Do you think that Jericho is back to put over Bray Wyatt? Yes. 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 Kashif Ahmed, do you think WWE should have a feud between Cesaro and Lesnar eventually? Yes, yes, yes. And I said it could have been over the heavyweight championship if they played their cards right. Brian Cespedes asks, do you feel Barrett's injury will take a dire hit to his career, or do you feel he'd still be safe with management once he heals and comes back? Now, the good thing that Barrett's got going for him is the fact that management loves him, loves the new gimmick. Hopefully that is good enough to keep him in high ranks and high regards. But I can't help but think about Ziggler and him getting injured and eventually falling down to the pre-show. All the way from the heavyweight championship to the pre-show, like that. So I'm holding out hope that they don't do the same thing to Barrett, but you never know. You really never know. So, like I said, and I see more people are joining here. Right now what we're doing is question time. So what you can do, if you want to get on the Hangout with us, if you want your face to be seen and your question to be heard out loud, please tweet me your email or direct message it to me on Facebook, and I will send you the link to join this Google Hangout so that you can be heard and be seen in front of the millions or fives viewers that we have here. So next question, Peluche Diaz. He asks, what will the theme for 2K15 be? 13 was Attitude Era. 14 was 30 years of WrestleMania. I'm not sure, man. And a lot of people have complained for some reason about the past couple of games. I thought the past two games have been the best since the PS2 Raw vs. SmackDown series. I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to see some type of NXT involvement in this game. It's been rumored that we're going to get Sting as downloadable content, but I'm not 100% sure. It's going to be tough for them to top the past 2 years. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that and say that, you know, there's no way, you know, I'm buying this game, especially with Cena on the cover. I think that's a bunch of garbage. It is what it is. Michael Flaherty comes in with a pretty great question on Facebook, which we will answer after we do these questions here. Actually, you know what? What the hell? Why don't I just answer it now? He says, pretending Drew McIntyre is still in the WWE. You have to push one, fire one, and give one the championship. And what championship do you mean? If you're talking about WWE championship, I'm firing all of them. But he lists Drew McIntyre, Kofi Kingston, Justin Gabriel. It really does depend on the championship we're talking about here. Push one, fire one, give one the title. Justin Gabriel's getting fired, bar none. I never really cared for him. Stupid hairdo, stupid song, stupid gimmick. I never liked him. Nick the Cena fan was at one time a die-hard Justin Gabriel fan. He probably still is if you ask him. I would probably push Drew McIntyre and give Kofi Kingston the title, depending on what title it is. Kofi Kingston is great in the ring, and he's been around long enough that he deserves that. Drew McIntyre obviously fired now, but I thought there was potential there. I would build him up and maybe then be able to take a title away from Kofi Kingston. So going back now, I got to find the original questions link here, and it looks like none of you guys want to hop in on the hangout. What's up with you? What's wrong with you? You could be here live in front of the millions and address me via webcam. But I understand. You're scared. You're intimidated. You see the Brock Lesnar poster in the back over there. You see CM Punk. You're like, oh shit, Punk's back. I understand. I understand. So getting back to the questions. Robert Lucas, with the ongoing Ambrose Rollins feud, do you think Rollins will be next to cash in and lose the belt? So do you? It seems like what you're asking me, Robert, is do I think that Rollins will be like Sandown, cash in and lose, not win the belt at all? I don't think so. God, I hope not. That would be terrible for me. As you know, I'm a Seth Rollins mark, but it's possible. I think that he probably holds on to the briefcase until WrestleMania if he doesn't cash it in soon. I think what's going to happen is he's going to continue to cash in, or attempt to, with Dean Ambrose. Stop it, give me a shot. Excuse me. But I hope he doesn't cash in and actually lose like Sandow did. That would be terrible. But, you know, again, WWE never ceases to amaze me. What did I say? I said, do you think The Miz is coming back instead of Chris Jericho? And then The Miz came out, and I was about to throw my fist through the TV. It was perfectly done with Jericho coming out after. But like I said, WWE never ceases to amaze me. Second part of Robert's question, with AJ back, when's Punk showing up? I asked myself that same question, and you know, I'm gonna get a lot of people that say he's not coming back. Get over it. He's not coming back. No, you're rolling. Shut your mouth. CM Punk is coming back. He will come back, and I'm not saying it as a mark. He's coming back. That's all there is to it. The guy is deep-rooted, has deep love for the business. He just needed time off from the bullshit. Now that WWE has finally seen, hey, we need this mother effer. I know they don't, you know, actually need him, but hey, shit's a lot better with him around. I think eventually he will be back, whether it be at WrestleMania 31 or whatever. When he comes back, I hope it's a massive heel run for him, destroying a guy like Daniel Bryan or something like that. Whatever. Not sure what he ends up doing, but I think they've got a lot of potential for him right now. And I think that if he's married to AJ and they're really, you know, in deep love and whatever, why not be with her traveling and shit like that? So, you know, obviously they were together before they got married. AJ and Punk were together, and Punk had left, and AJ was still on the road. So it's not necessarily like, oh, he's got to be coming back any minute now. But I wouldn't doubt seeing him maybe like a SummerSlam swerve, maybe a Night of Champions. Other than that, if he's not back in one of those two, I'd say it's probably not going to be until WrestleMania 31. Brandon Manuel wages in with the last question that we've got here. And if you've got any more questions, Twitter, right? Damn, this mirrored image shit with the camera. Right over there. Right under my name. At Rope Break Wrestling. Tweet us a question. Ask us a question on the Facebook. Message it to us. Whatever. Last question comes from Brandon Manuel, who has become quickly one of the top rope breakers in the world. He asks, AuSSy, I want to know what moment in history of WWE made you a fan. Mine was when HBK super kicked Stone Cold on the ramp to close out Raw in 1998. And do you think your first experience with WWE can measure up to what goes on now with the roster and current talents? Great question. As always, Brandon. Let me. It's something I've really got to think about, and I probably should have read the question in advance and given it good thought. But really, the moment in history that made me a fan would probably have to be The Rock in his first, him really breaking out of the Nation of Domination. But one thing that really sticks out in my mind is The Rock giving Farouk, Ron Simmons, WWE Hall of Famer, a picture of himself. He had given all the other Nation members Rolex watches, and then Farouk, who was at the time the leader, he gives a picture of himself. And that's when you kind of knew The Rock's about to take shit over. And quickly, The Rock became my favorite wrestler. To this day, is my favorite wrestler of all time. I'm not talking about The Rock that you just saw come back in his second run. I'm talking about The Rock. I'm talking about $1 million shirts, $100 or $1,000 pairs of loafers, sideburns, sunglasses, people's eyebrow. The Rock. I'm not talking about Dwayne Johnson. I'm talking about The Rock. And I'll tell you one thing. Anybody that knows me personally knows that The Rock has been a huge influence on my life. Sounds lame, I know. It does. But anybody that grew up watching The Rock and the way that he carried himself and the way that he made people believe he was the shit. He was the shit. I used that in my personal life. I was always quoting The Rock, always am today, as you could probably have seen on the podcast. The Rock is somebody that helped me have my own charisma, my own, my own image. And all throughout school, I was always, even if I wasn't saying the exact words The Rock was saying, I was saying them with that swagger, with, to make people believe I was something big and important. And they did. It caught on. And now, I'm a college student now, and I've got to be a little more professional than that nowadays. But I don't hesitate to drop a hashtag if you smell, or people's eyebrow here and there. Whenever The Rock is alongside Scottie Pippen and Mariano Rivera as like my three biggest celebrity influences or athletic influences, and he's probably number one out of those three too. Now Yogi on Twitter, it's Yogi joining the conversation. Thanks for watching. He says, do you think they should eventually split the championship? Also, when would be the best time? By the way, it's Sir Tommy T. Call me Tom. Tom, how you doing, pal? Nice to see you. I like the Yogi gimmick. Yogi the Bear. Why can't I call you Yogi? That's what I'm talking about. He says, do you think they should eventually split the championship? Yes, 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 yes. I think the perfect time to split the championship would be probably at like Night of Champions. I just don't know how they would do it. I'd like to see it split as soon as possible. I think Money in the Bank was the perfect opportunity for them to do that, but it didn't happen. So when they do it is beyond me. It might not even be until like Royal Rumble or something like that, or maybe they keep it together for a full year or a couple years. Remains to be seen, but I think they need two major champions. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, Tom. Again, I would be shocked and disappointed if by WrestleMania 31 there's not two straps again. Just me, maybe. We saw WrestleMania 18. The first WrestleMania, they had the unified. It wasn't unified in terms of having one belt, but it was the undisputed championship. Chris Jericho versus Triple H, WrestleMania 18. And by WrestleMania 19, we again, I believe, didn't we have two belts again? Didn't we have, yeah, it was Booker T versus Triple H. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, Booker T versus Triple H for the heavyweight championship. And then it was Angle Lesnar for the WWE championship. So I think they'll eventually have the title split again, even if they go with a unified style belt like they did with the WWE championship back then. I think it's best for business for them to have the two straps, and I think they're going to realize that soon and see that. But I think Lesnar carries both straps before that happens. Aaron Mason asks, what would be your ideal situation for Punk to be brought back into? Like I said, I'd like to see him come back, have it be a surprise, and obviously at this point, whenever he comes back, will be a surprise. But I'd like to see him come back and be a heel. You know, kind of say, F the fans, I left, I didn't give a shit about you guys. You know, I went and did my own thing. You kept bugging the shit out of me. You were taking pictures of me jogging, blah, blah, blah. And I'd have him crush a babyface like Daniel Bryan, getting a big feud with a guy like that, and maybe even over the title. I've always wanted to see Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk. I think that has the potential to be a massive, massive match that could draw a massive dollar amount. Remains to be seen, though. And that's, you know, probably my favorite, you know, quote or whatever, my favorite line to use is remains to be seen, because we have no clue what's going to happen with CM Punk, and we can sit here and, you know, we can sit here and predict till we're blue in the face, but the fact of the matter is, when he comes back, he'll come back if he comes back. At this point, I'd be excited to see him in any capacity, as long as it's not, you know, losing to Sheamus or something. So Tom sends in another one and says, Yogi is good. I can deal with that. And if you ain't down with that, then I got 2 words for you. Suck it. Well done. But seriously, though, Tom, if you had to choose between Tom and Yogi, which one would you have me call you? Serious. I like to make sure our fans are comfortable here. If you had to choose between Yogi and Tom, which do you prefer, Yogi or Tom? Let me know. Tweet me right this second. Let me know. And we're on the verge of wrapping things up here, as long as you guys don't have any more questions. We'll see. Again, a massive day yesterday was in WWE, and I'm baffled right now. I'm excited for Battleground. I'm excited to see where these new storylines are headed. Finally, Bray Wyatt getting some new work with Jericho. Jericho's back. Where does The Miz go? We're going to get Rollins, Ambrose. We're going to get, eventually we're going to get Triple H, Roman Reigns. We're going to get Lesnar, Cena Part 2. Question is, where does Daniel Bryan fit in? And Tom sends in, and he fell for it, guys. He fell for it. He says, if you ain't got 2 words with that, or if you ain't down with that, I got 2 words for you. Suck it. I asked him which he would rather be called, Yogi or Tom. He says Yogi, but I say it doesn't matter what you want to be called. Damn it, I'll call you Sir Tommy T if I damn please. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make millions and millions. And obviously that's what I'm doing. As you can see me in my 2-bedroom apartment here, loaded up with wrestling merchandise behind me. Look at that display case with action figures up at the top. Damn it, with this mirror image shit. Yeah, it's like brushing your hair in the mirror. You can't, like, you know, decide which way you want to go with it. But no, Yogi it is, man. Yogi it is. Thanks for playing along with that. But looks like we're going to be wrapping it up this week here on Rope Break Radio. I'm interested to know what you guys prefer. Do you prefer that we come on and do a live show like this, or do you prefer we do the radio broadcast format? I think this is a little bit better. I get to see you guys, and you get to see me face to face. And in the future, if you guys want to jump along with us and get in the Google Hangout and ask us questions, you can do that, whether you have a webcam or a microphone. And Yogi says, "I see what you did there. Clever." Of course it was clever. Did you expect anything less? Probably. One last question before we go, though. Here, Aaron Mason squeaks it in just in time. He says, if you had to pick one NXT talent to be brought up to the main roster and get a push, who's your pick? Mine is Sami Zayn. Mine is a guy that you haven't even seen on NXT TV yet. That's right, because I'm a hipster. It's too cool to pick Sami Zayn. I pick a guy named Slate Randall. Haven't seen him on NXT TV yet. For whatever reason, it's stupid. It's Sean Ricker from The Rock's TNT show, The Hero. He's a great talker. He was in Hollywood Championship Wrestling or whatever the hell they call that shit. He was down there with Percy Pringle, the late Paul Bearer as his manager. And anytime you have Paul Bearer as your manager, you know you are onto something. And I think if they don't get him on NXT TV soon, it's a monumental waste of talent. So we'll see what they choose to do with that. But I think he's ready for the main event. Not the main event, the main roster already. So we'll see what they do with that. But again, I'm interested to know what you guys think. Do we do this live show every week, or do we go back to the radio format where it's not live? Let us know on Twitter. Please, after we're done with the show, share the link to the show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. You'll get an email that says whenever we're about to go live. We're about to do big things with our channel there. Please share it on Facebook. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow us. Do everything that you can do. Yogi, you got it in, man. You're a lucky son of a bee. These people are throwing in questions at the last second. He asks, final question, when is the Ascension coming up to the main roster? Need to see a talented tag team like them. I agree with you 110%. When they come up, it's beyond me. Hopefully SummerSlam. I would love to see them come up and, you know, destroy the Usos or whatever in their tag team match at SummerSlam as a surprise. You know, they come out, they weren't expected to be there, they attack the Usos, something like that. That's how I would like to see them in. But again, did you like the live broadcast? Let us know on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. Share it on Reddit. Get the name out. We need to we need to expand our horizons here. Help us help you. The more people we have on board, the better donations that we get. The better donations that we get, we can give you better prizes, and we do it for free as usual. This is all for free. You don't have to just subscribe and pay $5 a month in order to see this video. None of that bullshit. We are here. We are live. We are free. We are uncut. We are fans just like you. I'm AuSSy for Alec, for Matt, for everybody at RopeBreakWrestling.com. This has been Rope Break Radio episode 11. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on the Raw React show. We are going to react right after Monday Night Raw, live on YouTube. Look for the link and subscribe to the page, and you'll know. That's all there has to do it. So let us know. Have a good one. And if you're on the East Coast or wherever the hell you are, it should still be Thursday. Enjoy your 4th of July if you're an American. If you're not an American, then Sergeant Slaughter is coming for you. And enjoy 4th of July anyways, because we, the people, have a good one, guys.